Hello everyone and welcome back to Make Your Mind. This is the second part of my Shin Godzilla sculptures. Now if you watched the preview video that I posted the other day, you saw the process that I took in order to actually create this upcoming sculpture. But now it is finished, and viewers and subscribers alike, let me go ahead and introduce the second form of Shin Godzilla, Kamata-Kun. Now this form of Godzilla, some people don't know about it, but a lot of people who do know about it, it's both sort of adorable and slightly unsettling. Here is Kamata-Kun, the second form of Godzilla. Of course, that right there is probably the feature that people recognize the most, and that is the face. The eyes. The eyes look like they're bulging out of its head, like this thing is in severe pain, because it's constantly evolving. The creature is constantly changing and evolving, and as you can see, it has these gills coming out of the side, because this creature literally hopped out of the ocean, grew legs, and is literally trying to figure out how to walk on land. It also has these arms that have started to sort of sprout out and grow from it. And the tail has evolved and gotten rid of is starting to get rid of the fin section. As you can see, the spines are also more pronounced from the first form, the first depiction that I made. And as you can see, it also creates these toes with these claws, but the claws haven't exactly formed over to be able to grasp yet. So this creature, in the beginning of the Shin Godzilla movie, when it arrives in the Kamata district, oops, sorry, hold on one second. Here we go. Yeah, this wax clay, once again, you gotta work with it. There we go. This creature literally comes out of the ocean, and then as the Japanese government is saying to its people, do not worry, this thing, whatever it is never going to appear on land. And then the minute they say that, one of their associates walks up to the podium while in the middle of the speech, and then he turns and goes, "What? It has?" And this is the form that everybody sees, Kamata-Kun, where it arrives in the Kamata district and is literally dragging its front body, the front of its body, along the ground as it is trying to walk. And it's a creature that is sort of completely directionless. It doesn't know where it's going. It doesn't know what it's doing. All it knows is that it's getting bigger. It's evolving at such an incredibly high rate that it honestly can't keep up with just how fast it's changing. And it's sort of dragging its body on the ground, and then it eventually stands upright and eventually starts to become the sort of traditional form of Godzilla that we all know and love. At least traditional in the normal sense. But this Godzilla, Shin Godzilla, is far from traditional. But the one thing I do love is the fact that this creature is almost, a lot of people even call this form the derp Godzilla, because you look at it and you go, that's not scary. But when you see how big the actual creature is, this thing is massive. It's not as big as the final form of Shin Godzilla is going to be, or I guess the fourth form as it is shown in the movie. But it's still huge. This thing is massive. It's bigger than a blue whale. And it is basically dragging itself through the districts of Tokyo in order, honestly, it's pure confusion. This thing doesn't know what it's doing. Once again, all it knows is that it's in severe pain, and it's trying to relieve itself in the best way it can. And it seems to me like this is like a sort of frantic, almost juvenile creature, from what I understand. And it's the other thing that's also unsettling is that the creature is evolving so quickly that the gills, it's not able to breathe. It's not able to breathe outside of the water with these gills. So these gills literally become pointless, and they start to change and sort of evolve away. And it causes this red body fluid to sort of leak out of its gills, and it's and that body fluid is extremely hot, and it's also radioactive, because once again, this version of Godzilla has its own internal biological nuclear reactor, which is just, I love that idea. They tried to ground this creature in a little bit of reality, only a little bit. But that's the one thing I do love about this movie is that it puts the monster back in the monster movies, and I just love this design. It looks it's sort of off-putting in a way, but trust me, when you see as big as this thing is, if it's coming at you, scraping itself across the ground with these massive teeth, and it slowly evolves and then eventually figures out how to live upright, I mean, you don't care what this thing looks like, you just want to run, you just want to get out of the way. And that is just that is just one of the things that I find so fascinating about this version of Godzilla, is that it makes sense with nuclear radiation causing mutations. It would make sense that this creature with an internal nuclear reactor is just evolving. And normally a creature that would breathe underwater, and also it would be a predator that would actually hunt other creatures, that now it doesn't necessarily have to do that anymore, because it has its own internal energy building organ, which is that nuclear reactor. And it's so fascinating to me. And then, of course, with the spikes, that's the typical Godzilla look. It has these spikes that begin protruding out of its body. And it has these sort of red sections, which are the sort of like open, I guess they're sort of like thinner parts of its skin where the heat actually comes out. And it actually showcases that later on in the film. But with that, this is Kamata-Kun, the second form of Shin Godzilla. I have the third form in the process, and I have been able to procure enough clay to eventually do the fourth form. So, the fourth form will be coming, which is the form that is the Godzilla that most people recognize and know and also love. But remember that this Shin Godzilla film, it was the highest grossing Godzilla film ever to come out in theaters. And of course, it came out here in the United States in theaters for a limited run, and it was a dub that was actually created by none other than Funimation. I'm surprised that this movie has such a huge fan base, and yet it's sort of not widely known. Maybe because of forms like this that seem sort of off-putting to the masses, but I just find this all so fascinating. This was definitely a film for Godzilla fans, and also fans of creature design like myself. But with that concludes the video. If you like videos like this, don't forget to leave a like down below, and remember to subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, so you don't miss the next video. The third form's coming, and also, with this, the fourth form is coming as well. And, the fifth form is also coming, which if you don't know what the fifth form is, I'm not going to spoil it, you'll just have to go look it up for yourself. And so with that, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see all of you on the next Shin Godzilla Sculpture Showcase.